Hey everyone, my name is Vitold. I just wanted to put a quick video together on something I just experienced. Came back yesterday from Porsche on track experience here in Poland. Um, this is something that I happened to get an invite for. Actually, big shout out to the folks at Porsche Sopot in Poland here for sending me the invite here because I don't think I'd ever go out and try this on my own without getting an invitation to this. It's a on-track experience at Porsche. It's a full one day event. It's actually pretty pricey if you want to sign up. And do this without having an invite comes out to almost 7,000 zloty per person, which is roughly around $1,700 per person. I actually got lucky. I went with my wife to this event, and it was absolutely a fantastic day. So. I'm just going to put together a little bit of a breakdown how this looks like. If you ever happen to get an invite or a discount to one of these events, it's absolutely worth going. So the way it looks like, it's the day before your track day. You check in at a hotel. Porsche uh, sets up the whole hotel for you. So you have check in after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's a welcome dinner at 7. Somebody comes in, also gives you a quick overview of how things are going to look like the next day. You eat some pretty good food, have some wine, and try to go to sleep a little bit early because the next day you wake up pretty early. Breakfast is at 6:30 already. By 7:30, you should be out and uh, on the road, going to the track. Actually, the hotel uh, that we were provided, and it looks like Porsche uses the same hotel for their track experiences. Was almost an hour away from the track itself, so it's not that close. So you really had to leave at 7:30 to be able to make it there at around 8:20 in the morning to get started. And um, it was a really intensive day. So the way it looked like, you first get in, check in, they check your driver's license. We had left our keys as well, so they charge up our car. I have a Porsche Taycan myself. Um, and they get you all set up. There's a quick overview of how the whole program looks like. They kind of go into a little bit about some of the cars that you're going to drive as well. This program was mostly around the electromobility module. So that's more talking about not only their Porsche Taycan, but also their brand new electric Macan. So we were lucky because we were the first group to drive the electric Macan here in the country. So that was a pretty exciting experience as well. It's an absolute fantastic car coming from a Taycan. Um, I would say it's a pretty similar experience. I drove the turbo model. It was only the turbo model that was available to drive, but it's a very fast car. It holds the road really well. You got the low center of gravity, and it's much more spacious than the outgoing Macan as well. So the outgoing one was a little bit cramped inside, especially in the back. The new one, a lot more room in the back, especially for kids in the car seat and everything. And it's just the layout design inside is a world different than the old one coming out. But besides driving both the Macan on the track, they also give you the brand new Taycans. So I haven't seen any new ones on the road yet, and I don't think they're actually available yet either. But they were at the track. So all the Taycans that we drove were the brand new refreshed models. So that was fantastic. So I myself have a first generation Turbo S. So we got to drive um, the 4S and the turbo model. So we did not drive the Turbo S. Actually, no, we did drive the Turbo S as well. So it was the Turbo S, the Turbo, and the 4S models that we drove on the track, and they were. Uh, all fantastic cars, especially uh, really when you drive a Taycan every day. Um, you really never have the chance in the city and in the street and even highway situations to ever really know what that car is capable of doing. And uh, I was able to test on the track really what that car can do, how incredibly well it handles, how fast it is, and how around turns it's composed. Especially that they don't let us turn off any of the traction control or any of the stability controls or anything at all. Um, that's that's kind of a lifesaver. Well, that is a lifesaver on all the Porsche models. Really, um, you, I tried to have it lose its composure, and I could not get that car to not do what I wanted to do. No matter how fast or how aggressive you're going to, even on the really hairpin turns, that car is just fantastic. So we also drove a whole bunch of other cars, of course, the 911s, 718s, Cayennes, and Panameras as well, and probably around at least over 40 cars I got to drive yesterday, um, in all different varieties. So not only the top end models, but you had the mid, a lot of 4Ss or S's, and some of the base models as well. Being used to an electric car for about a year and a half, um, I have to say that um, I don't think I would go back to a regular combustion engine anymore because you can really feel how much they like. Maybe like a Turbo S 911 is something that is fantastic, or like a 911 GTS was also fantastic on the track. Um, but then for everyday use, I would absolutely not drive one of those cars. I think a Taycan is just a fantastic machine. Not only fast but composed, and um, the driving experience is just out of this world. So anybody that's bashing on electric cars is somebody that's never really tried an electric car, um, especially a performance electric car. These are just absolutely fantastic machines, and I see the direction that Porsche is going in uh, going towards the electric revolution here versus sticking to their internal combustion engines. In terms of some of my favorites that I drove on the track, I would say the two favorite cars I had was the 911 GTS and the 911 Turbo S. Those were the two best cars. Turbo S is just really nuts on the racetrack, so you can have a lot of fun in that car. But the GTS is also a hell of a lot of fun on the track, and going around the turns because it's such a light car, you can really push it to the limit, and it still holds really well together. Um, some of the cars that I did not like at all, which I'm kind of surprised, was the Panamera. Is a car I would absolutely never buy, especially the lower trims. It's just it feels like driving a boat. It's not fast. It doesn't handle that well, comparatively to these other cars, and that was the least fun to drive. The second least for me fun to drive was the Cayenne. Um, I guess it's okay if a city car, but it's really I wouldn't call that a sports car at all. So those were my two least favorite. The 718 was fun. Maybe like a GT4 would be fantastic. I did not have an opportunity to drive a GT4 or a GT3, um, but we did the 718. I think GTS was the one that we drove. Um, and I had an S and a base model as well. So I drove all those three. The base model, especially with the 2 liter engine, is it's actually really slow. So you give it gas and it just kind of uh, it's it reacts so incredibly slow that um, uh, maybe it's okay car to drive once you're kind of going around corners and stuff. Um, but it just the lack of power was a little bit underwhelming. Um, Already the GTS a little bit more power, much more powerful. So that was fun, and it also sticks to the road incredibly well. Um, so that was good as well. Also, part of the experience, besides driving these cars, we also did um, slalom, and out of all the almost 50 people that came to the event here, um, somehow I got second place in the slalom. So that was kind of fun to actually be able to um, feel like you kind of know what you're doing. Although this, like I said, this is the first time I've ever been on a track before. Not something I've ever thought about going on a track and racing, especially with my own car. And after being with at this experience, I thought, hey, maybe someday I'd like to get for fun like a maybe a 718 or a 911 to have in the garage. But after this, I think I'd rather spend the money on an event like this, and they have a whole bunch of different events to choose from every. I think they do it in May and June, possibly July as well. But I think it's only in May and June here in Poland. They have these events, and it's not only the base event that I went to, kind of the beginner one, but there's a whole bunch of other events here as well, that do different types of things as well. So you have a precision experience, you have um, performance experience, and each one's a little bit different. Different types of groups, different prices as well. You have a master experience, which is mostly around all the GT cars. And then you have okay, here's the master GT experience. So each one's a little bit different. The last two that are the more pricey ones, especially the priciest one here, 39,911 is what it comes out to be, around $10,000. So $10,000 for 2 days on the track, something I don't have the budget for, but if you have the budget for some of these events, it's something that is a hell of a lot of fun. But going back to after driving the cars on the track itself, it kind of looked like you drive in pairs. So I went with my wife. So first she would drive twice around the ring. The ring was about 3.5 kilometers long, and then we'd switch drivers. I would drive twice around the track, and then you move to the car ahead of you. So we were in groups of about 6 cars. So you had the instructor that drove in the very front. He was driving a 911 GT3 RS, and we had to follow closely behind him as we went around the track. So and then we just kept switching cars. Then we'd go back. We had a break, or we did a different module, and then we'd come and we'd have a different group of different set of cars. So we had 911s and 718s, and then we had the Taycans, and then we had some Panameras and some Cayennes and the Macan as well. So all these different little groups here. Besides the slalom, as I mentioned, we also did launch control. So they gave us it was a 911 Turbo S convertible that we had, and they there's a straight. They took us out on this a long straightaway, and we did launch control up until we got about around 200 kilometers an hour. So that's what is that, 130, 120 miles per hour, something like that. and then we had to slam on the brakes as hard as we could. So we got to try out how launch control is in a 911 Turbo S, really similar to a Taycan Turbo S launch control, and then how the brakes work as well. So the brakes are incredible. It feels like it wants to throw you out the window when you slam the brakes. The carbon ceramics are incredibly hard or strong. We also did a SUV experience where I'm sure you've seen a lot of the journalists do this type of stuff, that they have this little off-road course with something that is then we have these little hills and go through water, and they tip it to the side as well. You drive on this little hill. That was kind of cool, especially that the new Cayenne has some upgraded suspension. So it's kind of fun to try that. Especially I had a first generation Cayenne that I sold, don't have it anymore. So kind of give a little bit of experience on, or a little bit of overview on how the cars changed. Besides that, we did what else did we do? I think that was about it. Oh, we did a taxi rides on the very end as well. So taxi ride, they'll take. We took out a few Taycans, turbos and turbo S's. We had both turbos and turbo S's, and they would take us in a little group, and the professional instructor turned off all the traction controls, all the things that kind of help save your life in some of certain situations. We turn all that stuff off, and they go absolutely nuts on the very end. So going through the taxi rides is also an incredible experience. So I've never been on a track before with a professional driver, and it's something that I would highly recommend also to try if you ever have the opportunity. My wife was a little bit scared on some of this stuff. She thought she wouldn't be able to do it, but after if you compare the first like half an hour to the last half an hour of her driving, it was like night and day. So if you're an average driver, a little bit intimidated by doing an event like this, it's absolutely worth it, and something that you shouldn't be intimidated of, and it could really help you become a better driver in the long run. So I just wanted to share this again. Big thanks to Porsche Sopot of Poland for sending me an invite to this event. I hope I will be able to do something like this again someday. And that's it. So hope you enjoyed this video. And again, if you have a chance to ever try something like this out yourself, I highly recommend it.